Okay, perfect. Hi, my name is Stacy Kimbrell, and I hope you're doing well tonight. And today we're going to be going over the benefits of vitamin D, which is necessary whether you're just born all the way up to 93. So anyone in between can be and possibly should be using this. This is a blood test that you can just get done by your doctor. There's some different values depending on what lab you go to, but I'll help you understand that. And it's something that we definitely need in our body. Vitamin D, back in the day, they just thought it was a vitamin, but really, vitamin D is a hormone that all of us need. And it's just, I love how the body works, a chain reaction for everything. So, you actually need vitamin D and good fats, good cholesterol in order to make hormones completely. So, getting the right amounts of everything, if you have enough good fat, but you don't have any vitamin D, you still can't make the hormones as you need. And of course, if you have the vitamin D, but you have bad cholesterol, if you have like the LDL is way too high and the HDL is way too low, then of course you're not going to be able to help make hormones for yourself anyhow. And that's whether you're male or female. So let's just go over this. In order to absorb the vitamin D that you need on a daily basis from the sun, you would have to expose your face, your arms, and your torso as much as possible for at least 15 minutes with no sunscreen. Okay. And so that's the vitamin D that you would need that day to sustain your life. Okay. And all your organ functions. And every organ needs vitamin D. It's an essential vitamin hormone that all of your organs need. So if you just think about when is the last time that you were out in the sun on it all, from waist up with, if you're a woman, a bra on or something, or a sports bra, and having your skin absorbed or being exposed to the sun with no chemicals on your skin, no sunscreen. If that hasn't happened in a while, most likely you probably have a lower vitamin D level that can do so many different things, which we'll go over in a second. And once again, you can get a blood test from your doctor and then start taking adequate amounts. I just got a call from someone today who went to the doctor. They said that she had very low D levels, and they subscribed or told them that they need to start taking 2,000 IUs a day. And that is a very low dose, especially for an adult, where many different sources you will find, including Boston University. He's a vitamin D expert, Dr. Michael Holock, and he's a MD, PhD, says that we are not getting enough vitamin D in our body and that the RDA levels are too low. So we generally speaking, we as even medically, you'll see recommended daily allowances from anywhere to 6 to 3,000 a day of IUs for someone who's 4 to 8 years old. Someone that's 1 to 3 could be 6 to 2,500 IUs a day. So for someone that's in their 60s to only have very low levels and only be able to take a 2,000, they're probably going to fill up enough to like their ankles and sustain that, because I know she's not out in the sun either. So you need to fill up to your knees and to your hips and to your shoulders and the top of your head, and then you could maintain on the recommended daily allowance. But if you're very low already and just taking 2,000, that's probably not the best choice for you. Also, I don't believe in prescription vitamin D, or I think it's Boniva or other ones that you can get from the doctor as a script, because we know they're chemically fortified, just like your vitamin D fortified milk. That's a pharmaceutical vitamin D that has been made in a laboratory, and it just doesn't absorb the same way to help your body do what it needs to do. So, of course, we want as natural as possible. We have the sun. If you're getting your vitamin D via the sun, then you want to make sure that you're not using toxic sunscreen to absorb, because now you're baking in these chemicals, and that is a really bad thing. So we're talking about clean sun exposure, okay? If you're white as a piece of paper and you need some protection of the sun, then I think the best is the Young Living sunscreen. I don't have it here right now, but it works very well, absorbs without seeing a color, but also there's nothing in there that's bad for you chemically. So it's something that you can look at. It's a much better choice. If you're someone who does not need, if you have enough melanin in your skin and you do not need sunscreen, then please do not put it on, because it would be a better choice for you not to than putting on chemical sunscreen. Okay, because remember, that's still absorbing into your skin, subdermally into the bloodstream, and all those chemicals will be going throughout your bloodstream and then creating other havoc as well. So let's see here. What do I want to tell you first? 80 to 90% of the vitamin D that you get is obtained through sun exposure. So you can just imagine how low that you could possibly be if you're not doing that already. Signs of vitamin D deficiency is autoimmune disorders, nervous tension, decreased muscle tone, bone issues or loss, osteoporosis, which has to do with hormones as well, which vitamin D is, and then also, of course, exercise and circulation. Brittle bones, let's see here, calcium deficiencies. It's also used for heart and blood vessels and blood pressure, high cholesterol, kidney, diabetes, obesity, obviously everything, multiple sclerosis, rheumatoid arthritis, any kind of issue in the body almost. Even it can help with PMS. We just talked about the other day when it came to supporting your body, even your breast. It really helps with if someone has vaginal atrophy, whether age or medication issues. So vitiligo, scleroderma, psoriasis, all that stuff. So vitamin D is something that's very essential to your body that you need. There's a couple different kinds that I really like, and I'll tell you about one right now. And this is something that you could get on Amazon, and it's called Carlson's Liquid Vitamin D. It does not taste like anything you can put in your hand and lick it off. You could put an apple. I usually don't suggest putting a liquid like this, for example, in your water, because some of it's going to stick to the walls, and you're not going to be getting all that you're trying to get. But literally, if you were giving this to your dog, your infant, yourself, whatever, the right dosage is, of course, then it just has no taste, so no one's going to complain about it. But this is something that we have used for years. I like this brand. They're wholesome, they're chemical free. So it's called Carlson's Liquid Vitamin D. That's one brand I'll talk to you about. And once again, things that can help prevent when you're using this vitamin D is dementia. Let's see, can help with depression, preventing osteoporosis. Helps with prevention, and it's beneficial in many different resources for cancer. Heart function, reduces diabetes, definitely helps with dementia and Alzheimer's, fights respiratory infections, help maintain a healthy weight, helps autoimmune diseases, fights inflammation, lifts depression, boosts immune system, lowers blood pressure, helps improve kidney function, and prevent hair loss. So another great one. So this is a vitamin D that I have used for years for our whole family, and it has worked out very well. Remembering that vitamin D is actually a hormone, okay? And it is required to absorb calcium and phosphorus in your gut, your digestive system, into the bloodstream. And because, whatever we're absorbing in through our digestive system goes through the little villi, goes up through the bloodstream to circulate throughout the body to help reproduce healthy cells. Whatever we're eating or we're drinking, we're either reproducing healthy cells or unhealthy cells, right? So we want to do the best to try to do that. Remembering, once again, that 90% of vitamin D absorbed into the body is supposed to be via sunlight, with clean sunlight. And this is an important vitamin hormone that is needed for everybody. So this is just one that I really love. What else is going to tell you? Okay, when you get your vitamin D's level tested, okay, every lab is different. Some labs can be 30 to 80. Some can be 80 to 100. Some could be 70 to 100. All different labs. I've seen all different kinds of blood test levels. I can tell you that whatever one you are looking at, you want to make sure that you're on the high end of it and not the low end. And I just have a really good example to help you think for yourself and learn how to become your own health advocate. Because most of the time in life at some point, maybe not anymore, but maybe you still are, we just blindly go along with the plan that has been given to us, and we don't look or research to see if that's accurate, or maybe someone was mistaught or misled, or maybe they just don't realize or don't know. So I want you to think about this one. So there was a mom who was 8.5 months pregnant, so just about to give birth. The doctor did some blood work on her because she's having some issues. She had very low vitamin D levels. Okay, she only had a number 6, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in blood work. Okay, and her lab values was 70 to 100. So she's got a number 6. So we were talking about it. She had to go back to her doctor, and she said, "Oh, I need to get some vitamin D." The doctor said, "Yeah, you can take some." He told her to take 2,000 IUs a day, and so when she was telling me about this, I said, "I'm so glad that your doctor recommended taking vitamin D. But if you just want to go research yourself, your levels and where they're at and when they should be, look at your blood and go do some other research on PubMed or wherever you want to go. That's a governmental agency that tests and studies this stuff. You will see for yourself that you should be taking more, number one, but your baby needs some as well." So with that information, when she went back to her doctor, she had expressed her concern from off of what I was suggesting to her and what she learned on PubMed. And this is the interesting thing, and this is where I don't mean to have any offense here, but this is where we need to apply common sense. And then if you do it, pray about it and try to figure out what you believe to be the truth is. So the doctor had told her that the baby would be born with enough vitamin D. So let's just get this straight. If mom only has a few more weeks of her pregnancy, and she's taking 2,000 IUs a day, and the baby is born, there's no way the baby can be born with 100% vitamin D. Like, this is the problem why we have problems with ourselves or our children when we give birth to them and we didn't know, and either whether it's genetic or what we did or didn't do can affect our children, right? Our fetuses. And then they're born and then things happen, right? Sometimes. So you got to realize like what's going on here. You're not born with 100% like an A the first day of school. The first day of school, you have 100%, you have an A. And whether you do your homework or turn it in or it's good or not is whether you stay at 100% or A, or whether you diminish and go down to B, C, D, E, F, whatever the case is. So like logically, there's just like no way if this mom's levels are, 64% lower, or by points lower than what it should be, that this baby can be born with an adequate amount of vitamin D. And so Carlson's liquid vitamin D actually makes vitamin D for infants. It's like 400 IUs. Why would you not try that for your child? Like, look up all the diseases that can happen and deficiencies just from vitamin D. If you have my book, it's on page 148. I didn't say it already, but if you don't know, I've written a book on health and nutrition and chemical awareness. It's called Living Balanced. You could get it at my website at livinganointed.com or on Amazon, Stacy Kimbrell and Living Balanced. Okay, so that's just a story that can help you hopefully think about the big picture here. Good sources of vitamin D is organic, of course, raw milk. We drank raw milk in our household for years, and with no issues. So I believe in raw milk, raw unpasteurized yogurt or eggs, sunflower seeds, wild caught fatty fish, swordfish, sardines, salmon, tuna, mackerel, cod, fish liver oil, which tastes like crap, but it's really good for you. Carlson's is another great brand, and oh my gosh, I forgot the other one we use. I'll put it in the notes. I'm sorry. Beef liver. I'm not really into that, but if you are, that's a good source. If you have fresh orange juice, that's a good source. If you have it from a can bag or can or frozen or whatever, that is not a good source. Alfalfa, red raspberries, watercress, those are all great other plant sources, or not all plant, but other sources of vitamin D. but not enough just to eat those to get what you need. So vitamin D is definitely something you need to supplement if you're not in the sun. And for those of us who live in a winter state, it's not like we're out in the sun for at least 6 months anyhow. So it's something that really heavily needs to be supplemented during the winters. Okay, so I'll be posting this information underneath here, but infants, once again, can go from 400 to 1,000 IUs. I'm 51, so I usually take about 4,000 IUs a day. There was a new study that was just out that was 4,000 to 6,000 IUs for an adult to maintain. But once again, if you're low, you need to soup up. You need to get to your ankles, your knees, your hips, your shoulders, the top of your head. And then you can maintain with your 4,000 IUs if you're not getting the adequate amount from the sun that's needed. Okay, let's make sure I have, just some interactions with vitamin D that you probably should know about. Cortisoid drugs, cortisol-based drugs, steroids, they actually block the absorption of vitamin D. Okay, so if you had to live for a period of time in your life with that, you're probably low and should get your levels checked by your doctor. Vitamin D helps the body absorb calcium. So some water pills increase the amount of calcium in the body. So taking large amounts of vitamin D along with water pills can make it where there's too much calcium in the body. The other thing is, you may not be aware of this, but next time you go to the supermarket, go look at the bakery section, all those little tables of goodies, right? And actually turn it over and read the ingredients. You will see commonly the word aluminum. Okay, aluminum is in there. ALUMINUM. Aluminum, like aluminum foil, right? You need to be aware that if you love to bake, you can get aluminum-free baking powder. It's an anti-caking agent that I don't understand why they're putting it in our foods, but it's heavily in there. So none of us are short in aluminum, okay? So aluminum is mostly found in antacids, baked goods, baking powder, deodorant, vaccinations, canned foods and drinks, body lotions, creams, of course, aluminum foil, and cookware, right? So vitamin D can increase how much aluminum is absorbed into the body. So that's why you'd want to be careful or be aware of that and do your best not to use that product. If you're putting like aluminum foil over like something to store in the refrigerator, or like underneath the cookie sheet when you're putting something on it, like a pan or something like that, so it doesn't spill over, that's okay choice. To like cook all your food in it like I used to when you make like a little tent and do all that stuff, not a good choice. Okay, now let me tell you what else. Let me just see, I want to make sure I don't forget anything. Let me tell you. Once again, I'll post all this information. I have a couple notes here I don't want to forget. So now I'm excited to tell you about another vitamin D as well that I just started using, and I love it. And I'm going to tell you what I'm allowed to tell you about this kind of vitamin D. And I have like at least 3 of these, usually 3 I put out a day. And so it's sort of like my candy, and sort of like with my vitamin C, my chewable, because it's like sweet tarts, right? So it's like this small, and it's 2,000 IUs. It's super vitamin D, and it tastes really good. A little sour, probably shouldn't have done that right now. Sorry. Supports bone growth. I'm allowed to tell you, it supports bone growth, healthy muscle, immune and nervous system function, okay? And once again, we all already know this, but Young Living has a plant-based vitamin D that's super absorbable. It's vegan friendly. It has no gluten or soy or dairy or egg or fish or shellfish or nut containing ingredients. So it's pretty much safe for everybody that has to watch out for certain different things. It's like a little mixed berry flavored, sort of sweet tart. It is sweetened with stevia, and stevia is a good sweetener, providing you get the right kind. If you're buying some on the market, just so you know, you'd always want to get sweet leaf. And so that would be the kind that's the better choice. Don't get a Truvia, don't get the other kinds. But stevia is a good, sweet leaf of stevia is a good brand, okay? Vitamin D is a super resource that helps with bone growth, healthy muscles. It plays a major function in respiratory health, helps initiate adaptive defenses and mechanisms, and it supports the body's respiratory immune system. It's made with lemon balm, and which really, and vitamin D help to support the mood and hormone regulation in the body. So that is obviously very important. And I just love the taste of it. And this is viable for children, for adults. This is a 2,000 IU, so that's why I take 3, because I take like 6,000 a day. You could give a half for a child. You can look up the recommended daily doses. You could put it 4 for a younger child, or just give Carlson's. However you want to do it is fine with me, but it's something that is a good source. The one thing that you really want to do is, when you're buying vitamins and minerals and that kind of stuff, trying to do your best, if you're getting at Walmart or a 2-for-1 at Rite Aid or Walgreens or something like that, or even Sam's Club, unfortunately, you really have to look in the ingredients, because most of the time they're like filled with soy. I just had someone who had magnesium, and I was just like shocked. 2-for-1 special. They're taking magnesium because the benefits of magnesium, which are huge, like you've got to research. I think I have a section in my book on magnesium. Magnesium is like so important in the body, almost equally as important here as vitamin D, right? And his vitamin D had in it polyethylene glycol, propylene glycol, which is in low tox antifreeze. One of the ingredients, it had titanium dioxide, which is ground up titanium metal to make sure it's nice and white for you. So now you're getting metal poisoning. And it had talc in there. Like, what in the world is going on? Why are vitamin companies allowed to put this stuff in there? So not a good source at all. So please, as much as you're trying to do to help yourself, find a reputable company. I obviously believe in Young Living. I've been using them for over 13 years. My whole family, my animals, I have 2 dogs, and our family's been blessed to be over-the-counter and prescription-free for over 13 years now. So that's not just because I live in Flint, Michigan. That's because of all of our lifestyle changes that we've made. And Young Living is part of that as well. And drinking enough water and eating wholesome foods and getting exercise and walking around the block and getting negative ions just by being outside. Today was such a beautiful day. The wind and the warmth, and it was like 70 in Michigan, which is pretty nice. So seeing that we had like snow a couple days ago. So anyhow, I won't keep rambling, because I want to make sure that I can respect your time and mine. And I just want to give you this information. I will post more information for you. If you need any help, please let me know. If someone sent you this video, please get back to them. And if you want to know when I'm going live, teaching daily about health and nutrition and chemical awareness, please go to click on the video, go to the 3 little buttons, and then the notifications. You can say, notify me when Stacy's going live. Okay? So thank you very much for your time. I will answer some questions after this, and have a fantastic night.